If this is true, as per this statement, a lot of work that we were anticipating being quite tough to achieve over the coming weeks actually done in one go.
But there's a lot of talk about having only these 12 legislative days left in September. We also had Nancy Pelosi obviously speaking this morning, talking about this, talking about coming up with a unified solution. We also had Paul Ryan, of course, the Speaker of the House, saying that he didn't think the Democrats' proposal to do something like this, tie Harvey to the debt limit as well as the CR, was feasible. They wanted something longer, particularly with respect to the debt limit. So it's interesting that we see this crossing the wires right now. We'll have to get more information on it in terms of where we actually are in this process.
Creates an interesting situation if we get to December. You've got a fiscal cliff built in there
exactly.
At a time when there isn't the deadline pressure. So it will create an artificial deadline to do something that the markets will be really focused on.
Fascinating, isn't it? Let's just bring in Terry Haines, the ISI, Evercore's senior political strategist. Terry, great to have you as well. I mean, you are laying out all the different probabilities of the individual pieces here and the likelihood of these things happening. What do you make of the suggestion that they've managed to agree on several of these items, whether it's the aid, the debt limit and the continuing resolution, all in one go?
Well, I must say I'm not real surprised by it, Julia. As we parsed through it this morning, what I saw was a confluence of interests, and when a confluence of interests happens in a republic or a democracy, things usually happen. And what you have here is a situation where, you know, the dynamic, we already saw the chance of no shutdown and debt ceiling, a successful debt ceiling resolution is high. The hurricanes now make that even a little bit more likely. Nobody wants to be playing games with government spending at a time like this. So you've got a likely resolution already. And when Republican leaders talked about kicking the can for 3 months on the spending bill, then what you have as a response essentially is Leader Schumer, Leader Pelosi both saying, well, great, well, we'll deal with the debt ceiling in that same time frame as well. So, you know, as Mike just said, you know, it smooths over things right now, but it sets up a potentially bigger confrontation in December.
Megan, come in here.
And we want to say that what we're seeing now in the reporting is that Trump has agreed this with the Democratic leaders, but that internally Republicans were furious about this.
I'm sure.
That we do have Mitch McConnell, Paul Ryan, et cetera, already saying in this meeting that this is not what they wanted. That is what we're seeing. Again, we're going to have a lot more information to come out on this, but that is what is surprising about this, is that while there may have been a confluence of interest in terms of how this played out in terms of the debt limit as well, is something that potentially has dramatically upset, again, increasing this rift he has with members of his own party on several issues.
The Freedom Caucus is going to oppose this. They're not going to want any of this, but they don't need their votes now if they have the Democrats' votes. So it's a way around them, but that's only going to make them madder and determined to demand more when they get to the next round of negotiations.
We'll also love to see how the base responds to a Trump-Pelosi-Schumer alignment versus Ryan
exactly.
McConnell.